Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my viewers and to all of those beautiful people, whoever is going to watch the replay. And today I'm here again. I'm doing one more live for this week I have a very special guest with me, and she's from Mexico, and I really personally appreciate her so much. And her name is Deborah McLagan. I think I'm
McClanagan. Good
McLanagan.
try.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, Deborah.
No, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. And I would, before I give the stage over to Deborah, I would just say a few words about Deborah, because we both attend meetings, and Deborah is the one, she hosts every week the meeting, and I learned a lot from the meeting from Deborah, because she's in the business way longer than I am, and she's very like, she's very intelligent about the business and about the personal, if you have any mindset issues or anything, it's Deborah who I go to. So I really, like, from the bottom of my heart, Deb, I welcome you to my life, and now I would just give it over to you. So please tell me something about yourself.
Wow, well, that's a great introduction. So, anyways, I'm going to start off. Um, I'm originally from Canada, and I'm first and foremost a child of God. And I'm a mother of six and a grandmother of 19 and a great grandmother of 12. I started this business in February of 2017. So in February, I will be in the business 10 years. And I was 60 years old when I started this business. So, when people say, "Oh, I think I might be too old," no, you're never too old to start this business, right? But I had quite a story behind me before I started my business. A few years prior to starting the business, of course, I was married at the time, and we we had great jobs, and one of our children needed our help, and we ended up taking custody of the children, and we had to travel back and forth from Alberta, Canada, to BC, Canada, for 2.5 years every 7 days, because we worked 7 days on and 7 days off. So it took all of our savings, all of our investments, everything we had with lawyers and staying in motels and travel, because you couldn't fly because they were in the mountains. So we had to drive, and it was a 17-hour drive each way. So every 7 days we'd get off work at 7 o'clock at night, and we would drive. We'd go home, shower, get ready, and leave, and drive the 17 hours straight through, and get the children, go to a motel for a week. And because we couldn't take them out of the province until the court case, was
Mhm.
finished, and that took 2.5 years. So, anyways, our money was gone. It was gone. And then in 2015, I they were, of course, it was a downturn of many companies, and the company that I worked for um, eliminated my position, mine and many others. They eliminated it. They had no reason to let us go, so they had to eliminate the position. So now they do, 6 months later, they hired people back, making the amount of money they were paying us in income tax. So, smart decision on the company's choice to let us high paid people go. But we weren't prepared for that, because we had no savings, we had no investments. We were just starting to get back into trying to save again. And I got a wonderful severance package. So I thought, I'm going to take a year off work. You know what? When I had kids, you went to work, you went to have a baby on Friday and back to work on Monday. There was no maternity leave when I had children. So, anyways, I thought, I'm going to take a year off work, and then I'll apply to get a job, and I'll get a job, because I'm good at what I do, and I've done it for years, and I know. But, I started looking for work, Grace, and I got lots of interviews, and I think they interviewed me because they felt they had to. I don't know, because I worked with those people with the position I was in before. But every one of them said to me, "How long do you plan on staying in the workforce?" Well, I was 60. right?
Yeah.
So I had to come to the realization people don't want to hire anybody over the 60. Plus, I was in a very high position, and there's no way they would be able to start somebody out new and match that kind of money. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was sitting in a bad place and I had to do something. So I started looking online. I thought, if Fort McMurray, where I live, gets minus 52 in the winter months. And I thought, no way am I going out in that cold to work for minimum wage. I'll do something online that I can make minimum wage on, and I'm staying home in my house, right? It's not costing me to drive my vehicle to get to work or going out in that cold. So I started looking and I prayed. Oh, I prayed, I just want something that when my bills come in, I can pay them. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking to be rich. I'm not asking to be wealthy. I'm just asking for something that I can do to have enough money coming in to pay my bills when they come. So, anyways, I started looking, and I looked at so many things. And my goodness, some of the things that are out there is pretty scary. Like, I'm thinking, do people really think those things work? Like, do they really think it? And how can you make money selling like a memory stick or something like that you would sell for $5? How many of them would you have to sell to be able to pay your hydro bill in a month, right? Like it
Yeah.
was like hundreds, thousands.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, because you got to take your tax money out of it and this and that. And I thought, there's just no way possible why anybody could think that they could make money doing things like that. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
could make $1 off of each one they sold, but you'd have to sell 1,000 to make $1,000, right?
I know. I
And
know.
it like, who you gonna sell them to? So I thought, these are crazy. Like, can't do that. That won't work. This won't work. And then these two young guys kept going across my page, across my page, across my page. And I thought, I am so sick and tired of looking at these things. I don't want to look at anybody else's, right? I'm just going to try to find a job. I know people work jobs online, whether it's data entry or whatever it is, right? So finally, I clicked on it. I clicked on Mike and Darren's ad and I watched the information session. And I'm like right up to my computer saying, oh my
Wow.
gosh, look at the plan they have. Like, and and I would go back and I'd watch it again and again and again and again. I clicked on their ad in December of 2016, and I never became a business owner until February. So I don't recommend for people to procrastinate the way that I did, right? But it was, I lost 6 months. Well, because I became, I paid the 149 like, people do. And I thought, well, I'll pay that 149. I paid that in December, but I don't know when I actually clicked on it. It was a couple of months because Mike and Darren were beginning to think I was becoming a webinar stalker. I never missed a webinar. I was there twice a week watching that same information session and listening to the questions and getting the information, and I knew it would work. I didn't know how it was going to work because, they're talking about doing this and that. And I used to work on a computer 12 hours a day, but I closed it at the end of the day. It was income tax programs, business programs, Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, database programs, income tax programs. And it was nothing to do with social media. In fact, I did have a Facebook
Mm-hmm.
account, but my kids made it for me only because I had grandchildren back in New Brunswick and they felt I needed to keep in contact. Well, I never did keep in contact with them through Facebook because I didn't like it. I didn't know how to use it. I thought, I kept duct tape on my camera because I didn't want people looking at me. My daughter kept saying, Mom, people can't see you. And I said, I know they can't. I got duct tape on there. They can't see me. She said, no, you have to have your cam. I said, look, I keep the duct tape on my one at work too. Nobody's going to see what I'm doing, right? So, anyways, they just shook their head at me. But I thought, they're talking about social media. But then on the same breath, they're saying we train. We have a training program that's all video based and you can do it. So I thought, I'm good at, you pay your 149, you get to see that training, the very beginning of the training. So I
Yeah.
thought, I'll pay the 149 because they said I'll give you 30 days
Yeah.
to look at it, decide if it's something you want to pursue or not. And if not, we'll give you back your $149.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how can I go wrong?
I
Right?
know.
You
Yeah.
can't go wrong. I mean, how do you go wrong?
I
So
know.
I got the 104. I paid the 149, and they put me into their Facebook group, and they put me into their training on the first part of the training. The same as today, everybody gets that very first part of the training still today, and I I'm looking at it and I'm doing it, and I'm saying, well, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. I think I can do this. I might not be really fast, but I think I
Yeah.
can do it. And I had a 12-year-old grandson that was a computer geek. And he loved his grandma. So I just said, Taser, can you help grandma? Like, can you help
Yeah.
grandma build a business page? Can you help grandma do this? And sure, grandma. And he was a kid that came and took over. He would say, Grandma, you do this, you do that, you click here, click there. So I said, just a minute, I got to take notes. And I, wrote down all the notes because he was there on a Sunday, and Sunday I don't work. So they were pretty upset I was in the office even doing that on Sunday, just getting some pointers from him. So, anyways, I had to put my notes down and go back. And the next day, I get up really early in the morning. I go into my office and I'm going through the notes and I'm saying, what is that? What did I write there? What's that talking about? Like, oh my goodness. So, anyways, I started, doing what I thought I had written down, because it didn't make sense to me. And it wasn't working for me. Wasn't working for me. I didn't go back into the training like I should have and went through it. And maybe my notes would have made sense to me, but I was trusting only on my notes. So, see, there's a lesson I learned the hard way, that you go into the training and follow it because it's video based. It showed me exactly what to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, I waited till he got out of school that day, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Taste, that's not working for Grandma. I don't know." And he said, "Grandma, what are you doing? What do you see?" So I told him, and he said, "Grandma, read your notes." And I said, "Well, I don't know what I wrote. I don't know what it's talking about." So we went through it, and I said, "Oh," and he said, "Grandma, you have a training there that we looked at yesterday. If you went back into your training, it would show you exactly what you could have done." So I
Yeah.
thought, he's 12 years old, right? He was 12 at the time. So, anyways, I finally got my business up and running, and um, then I was still, I was going through treatments at the time too,
Wow.
and yeah, I was going through treatments at the time, and I still had a few more. So in that, in that second month of being in the business, the hospital, my oncologist told me to go home and get my affairs in order. There was no more they could do.
Oh.
Man, I said, whoa, you're not talking that over my life. Like, I got a lot of living to do. I just started a new business. I've got so much I have to do in my life. I'm living to be 120, so I'm not, you can't talk that over my life. So, anyways, I was slow getting into the business because of illness and going through treatments and stuff. But finally, I just said, I got to do this. So I sat down and I get into it. And in September, no, in May, no, in September of 2018, I guess it was, because I was slow. In 2018, I made my first $50,000 month.
Wow.
I know. And I'm taking, because we get checks back then. Today we have direct
Yeah.
deposit, but
Yeah.
we had checks. So I got all these check stubs and I have my big calculator out because I'm an accountant by trade, right? I'm an accountant. So I'm adding these slips up, and I'm flipping, and I'm adding on my big machine, and I'm adding and flipping the checks. And my daughter come in, a few hours later, and she said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just adding these check stubs up." And she said, "Mom, you're an accountant, guaranteed you got the same answer the first time that you're getting now after 100 times of adding those checks up." And I said, "Well, I'm, back east, when we lived back east, we never made that much money a year. I'm
I
making it in a month, right?"
wow.
Yeah, so it was like, and you got to keep working. You get paid for what you do, right? So,
Yeah.
had very consistent high five-figure income every month. And then, we moved, I became cancer free, and moved to Mexico. And then my husband of 42 years decided he wanted to live a different lifestyle. He liked the party life. So I didn't. So, anyways, we ended our marriage of 42 years. And he went back to Canada. And I stayed here. But he took every penny we had. So I had to
Wow.
start over. And he had the password to my online business, and he went in and did a lot of damage in it, things that I did not believe that he would do. I didn't think, I really didn't think he would do that. I thought I was setting him free to live the life he wanted to live,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I had to start over.
Wow.
I in
And
2020, and then it's
before yeah, before we move forward, as I said when I started this interview, and I gave a little bit of introduction about you, now people can see, now people can hear why I gave that introduction of you.
yeah,
Because I as far as I know you, and now I hear you more, you are really a person who can be, who can be ideal for anyone. Because starting a business at the age of 60,
mm-hmm,
taking that big step, learning social media by yourself, and within the last 2 years making 50,000 a month is amazing. And not
yeah,
only that, fighting your cancer and saying, no, this is my life, I get to decide how I live and how long do I live,
exactly,
right? That's just really, really, really amazing, amazing. That's why
exactly.
I gave that introduction of you, because personally, I think I would keep this interview with me forever. And whenever I'm feeling down, honestly, I'm going to go back and listen to the conversation again.
Well, every time I tell my story, you have all those feelings that were back then at those time and things.
Yeah,
But
I
then I hear
understand.
somebody else's story, and mine is nothing compared to some of them that are in the business. Some of these people struggled so bad, you know, and it was just, I know one girl that's in our business. Her
Hmm.
family come over in a little boat, immigrated
Okay.
to the US, and they
Hmm.
came in a little boat. They got
Wow.
stopped by pirates. One of the children was taken, and they, pushed on. And I thought, and she came into this business because she wanted to give her parents a life they never had,
Wow.
right? And she's
Wow.
given that life to them. But
Wow.
I've had the opportunity. I had to start over again because, for a while I was embarrassed that my marriage of 42 years had failed, you
Hmm.
know, and it was really hard to come online and put on a happy face when I was as sad as I was. So my
Hmm.
business hurt really bad, and I had to start over again. And it was like, but I can do this. I can do this. But it was harder to come back and start over again than it was to start in the very beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So, anyways, yeah, I don't make as high a money as I used to, but I will again someday. It's because it's gradual, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, and I mean, this business is for anybody and everybody. But one of the things is we have to be consistent. We have to show up. We have to be there. But you don't have to be in your home. You can be anywhere. I could be down on the
Yeah.
beach. I could be anywhere, and I could do this business because we can work from our phones, you know?
Yeah. And I
And it's
wonder, yeah,
go
when
ahead.
I joined this business, there were 40,000 people. I wonder how many people were there when you joined the business.
I was 106 into the business.
Wow. And
I
now it's
know.
crossing 300,000 already.
I
Wow.
know, right? I was number 106. And I thought, oh, if I only had to get in a little early, I would have been before 100. But anyways, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah.
and I know you talked about the training. Training is really amazing. It's step
Oh,
by
it's
step. And like these days, we have different languages in the training. Like if you don't understand
yes.
English that well, you can change it to your own language, right?
Yeah,
That's
you can.
amazing. Yeah.
And I mean, and they have all the training in French and Spanish,
Yeah.
English. Oh,
Hindi.
there's a couple of Indian.
There's lots of languages
Oh,
there.
there's lots of them. And then the languages that aren't, the training isn't, we have a built-in thing on our computers that
Yeah.
we can change it to whatever language we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing,
I
right?
know. I know. Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
yeah, and like there's no age to start this business. You can start whenever you think you're ready.
Yeah,
Or when you think
exactly.
you're ready. Yeah, and when you think
Yeah.
you're ready, as you said, just keep taking, consistent steps. Maybe small steps, but
Consistent.
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 Because
Just be consistent. That's it. Work at your own pace. Enjoy every moment of it, but
yeah,
follow the training to a T. Don't waver from it one little bit. You've got to follow the training to a T.
yeah.
So, but um, one of the things that I love to see young people come in this business because the young people grow up on computers, they thrive on
Yeah.
computers. But I love to see them come in and because one Christmas I gave my kids books, and it
Hmm.
was books about their childhood. And it was like fill in what was good about your childhood, what you liked about your mom, what you liked about your dad, what you didn't like, what they did that really bothered you, about your siblings, the fights they had, the good times they had, the cries they had. It was all kinds of things. And the very last page said, if there was one thing you could change in your childhood, what would it be? So
Hmm.
after I gave those books to my kids, I thought, "Oh gosh, I've made a mistake. I don't want to know how bad of a parent I was. I don't want them to tell me how bad of a parent I was." So I said to them, "Take your time giving those books back because I want you to really be serious about it. Because if I made mistakes or your dad made mistakes in raising you, don't worry about hurt feelings. This is to help you too."
Hmm.
Because if we did something that affected you, you can change it. You don't have to do it to your children. You don't have to say it or whatever it is. And my youngest daughter gave the book back within 3 months, and I thought, oh no, this can't be good. She was the youngest of six, and she's the only one I really butted heads with as a teenager. And I thought this isn't going to be good. Now I'm really going to know what kind of a horrible mother I was, right? So, anyways, I when she gave it back, I just put it aside because I thought I'm not ready to read this. I'm not ready to hear how bad of a person I am. Anyways, I read it and I laughed and I cried and I, giggled and it was sad moments and happy moments. But the last page is what I will remember the rest of my life. So I hope every young couple that is watching me right now listens to this because every couple has to work. There's two income families. You have to have a two income family. And for anybody to start this business, we don't want you to quit your job and start this business. We want you to start it and do it part time until you make more money at this business than what you do at your income. Then
Hmm.
it's time to move on and do this full time. But she said, the one thing, if I could have changed, I wish my mother hadn't have worked so much.
Wow. Wow.
And I'll never get that back,
Wow. That touches my heart.
right? I'll never get that back.
Yeah.
So when I see young people come into this business, it just melts me because I think you're doing it right. You're going to be home with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
because kids today really need the parents, at one parent or at the other one home with them at all times, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just too much of the world out there for them, and it's not like when I was a child. When I was a child, I was out playing and I was up and down the street and over at the neighbor's house. My mother, when she wanted us home, my brother and I home, she'd toot the car horn 3 times and everybody in the neighborhood would hear it. And they'd say, "Oh, Debbie and Ricky have to go home." You know, you couldn't let your kids do that today. Somebody
Yeah,
needs to be
yeah,
with them at all times.
yeah,
The world has changed a lot.
yeah.
So, but would my
Mhm.
children's lives be different if I had been home with them rather than work all the time? Probably, probably, you
Yeah.
know?
And it's a very good idea, the way now I'm thinking I should do that too, like give my kids some kind of a book or something so that they
Yeah.
can write and they can let me know like where I was lacking.
Yeah,
And
because they're going
that
to have
will,
children, right?
yeah,
It helps
yeah,
them with their parenting,
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. It
right?
helps them with their parenting. Yeah.
Exactly. But you know
Yeah.
what? Every one of my kids work all the time, all of them,
Okay.
all of them. And even though, like, I've got, well, I shouldn't say all of them. My oldest daughter is home with her children.
Hmm.
But she worked part time. She worked part time. But today, parents have to have two incomes.
Yeah.
You have to have two incomes to support yourselves today, right?
Yeah. Tell me something about this community, online business community. What's your
Oh
feeling?
my
What's your
gosh. Well,
experience?
Grace, you and I never would have met if it hadn't have been for this business, right?
Yeah.
And the best part about this business to me is the community, are the people. The
Yes.
people are so friendly. They're so nice. Like everybody is willing to help everybody, even if you're not financially tied together. Everybody helps everybody because when you
Yeah.
help somebody, you get paid back. Like, you get you know, you help somebody in life, and it's just the way the world works.
Yeah.
You help somebody, somebody helps you.
Yeah.
You help somebody, somebody helps you, right? But the community and the people, like we're like family. I mean, I see all of you guys every week face to face. I don't see
Yeah.
my kids every week face to face on the computer, so
Yeah.
you become like family,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like when you're working, you see these people you work with every day and you become like family,
Yeah.
right?
And you know what? I'm planning next time when we have this meetup in Mexico, I
Yes,
am definitely going to be there.
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You bet now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to have one this year because
Yeah.
there was so many more put together, and they wanted me to have a great big huge one here,
Okay.
and it's hard to find a facility, to be able to do a big huge one here, in the cities, the big cities.
Yeah.
It's easy to find big places, but we do it at a resort.
Yeah.
So, we got to find one that can facilitate, a lot of people. But
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody that's been here likes the smaller ones the best.
Yeah.
So they've
I
asked
know.
me to keep it small. So, like I said, I didn't do one this year, but I'll definitely do one next year in
Yes. Count
2027.
me in already.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I know I heard like when we did that last time in Mexico, and I heard from so many people there was like 7 days being in Mexico. My goodness, it's just heaven on
Yeah.
earth,
And we
right?
spent the whole week together, and everybody got to know everybody, because one of the things I don't like clicky groups of people. I want everybody to meet everybody. So, we had our guest speakers brought in, and every night I had a schedule made up that one guest speaker would meet with so many of the people. And then the next day, a guest speaker would meet with so many people, but they couldn't be the same people. So,
Okay.
it was quite a process of getting that set up for everybody, because you can't do it until you know exactly who's going to be here, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, so everybody got to meet everybody and spend time with them at least
Wow.
one day together, and it was amazing. So you get to meet, and when you get to sit and talk to our guest speakers, these people are good,
Yeah.
they're good in the
Yeah.
business, they're doing so well, and you get to just hang out with them, like you and I are talking here,
Yeah. Yeah.
sitting with them face to face. You can ask them anything and they tell you, like,
Yeah.
there's no secrets in this business.
Yeah.
It's showing up, being there, and doing it. That's it. That's the
Yeah.
secret.
And yeah, and the beauty is that, all these, and including you, like successful in the business, they have, like, behind their success there's a story, their struggles, and
There's
they share everything with you openly,
Yeah,
so that you don't feel alone, so that you don't feel, okay, I'm the only one struggling. No, they were struggling too at one point, but now they are up so high in this
yeah.
business because they were
Everybody
consistent.
struggles in life.
Yeah.
We all have a story. We all have a history. And that if they just go on and listen, because twice a week we do the webinar, which is the information session, twice a week, and people
Yeah.
just have to register on your webpage
Yeah.
and watch that information session. And at the end of the information session, there's 6 business owners that are at different levels throughout the business, and they come on and tell their story and talk. And someone on there they will relate to,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Someone on there they will relate to. And whoever they got that registered through, get back to that person and find out how to get started. Get started right away. And it doesn't matter if you go in under the person that was talking, or
Yeah.
you need to go in under the person whose webpage you registered on, because you're going to meet with those people anyways, and they're willing to help. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I know during our talks we have been getting, and I'm sure the viewers have been getting a lot of advices like here and there. But I would still ask you, what one advice would you give to the person who's listening and who's still like thinking, should I go? Is it a scam or should I not do it? So what advice would you give to those people?
well, the first thing I'd say is stop procrastinating. Register on Grace's website. I'm sure she'll put it under this video once we're
Yes.
finished.
Yeah.
Register on her website. Watch the information session. Then you're going to know if you want to pursue it further. If you do pay that $149, I mean, $149 can't take a family out for dinner today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, pay that 149, and then you're going to get a whole bunch of other information. They're going to put you into our training, so you can actually see what our training's like. You get put right into our system. You
Yeah.
get put into, the groups, well, it's not a Facebook group. It's a private group. You'll be put into our private group. It's like Facebook, but it's a private group.
Hmm.
And they'll put you into that. And so you'll get to see if this is something you really want to do. And if it's not, you have 30 days. I say on day 29, if you don't want to do it, refund. They'll give your money back, no questions asked. And
Yes.
I know people that have come in and waited to day 29, got their money back, and on day 31 they came back in again. Now they're building the business. They just wanted to see if it would work, right?
Yeah.
And it does. So, but
Yeah.
that's what I tell them. Just check it out. Don't go by what we say.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. Don't go by what I'm telling you or
Yeah.
anybody else is telling you. Check it out on your own. That's what I did when I started. I checked it out on my own,
Yeah.
right? And check it out. Go see it. Go meet the people, because when you're in that group, you have the opportunity to ask questions. Not just to Grace or to me, or you get in there, you just put a question in. Whoever has the answer is going to answer you.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
don't procrastinate. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just
totally agree with you, Deborah, and that's wonderful advice. And that's the basic step, Just
Yeah,
take action, and then you move forward step by step. And
exactly.
the beauty of this 149 is that within 30 days you know everything about the business. You know the commission structure, you know the products, you know how you can finance your own business, you know
Yeah.
how you can get the money back into your taxes and everything. And still you have like 30 days, and you can say, as Deborah said, that even on the last day or second last day you can just ask for money back if you think that this is not for you, right?
Yeah.
but but
And
if you know, yeah,
mhm.
once you know that it's a legit business, and you can claim your expenses at the time of taxes and everything, and you decide, okay, yes, I want to move forward, then only you move forward, then only you book your coaching call, then only you start your business. So you
Yes.
have all the time with you to decide.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. And just just do it. Just
yeah,
do it. Because we in Canada and a lot of other countries today has financing for people to get started in building a business, because
yeah,
you have you have to have a product to have a business.
yeah.
But the one good thing about our product, we buy it for ourselves, our own personal use. We don't sell it to other
We don't
people.
know. Yeah,
Everybody has a choice to buy something for their own self, and we have choices. We have so many choices now,
yeah,
and commissions are so good, and you build commissions by helping other people.
yeah. And
That's why I
if they think like any business, whether you do it offline or online, there is an investment, right? But if
exactly.
you do this, if you do the business offline, you're trying to get a place, you're trying to get the
The
place
overhead
on the
people.
rent or the lease, and you're getting the products every month, and then you're selling them out.
Yeah,
It's a lot of hassle, and you end up spending more than $1 million, right? Just to just start a
exactly.
small offline business. But in this
Exactly.
business, all you're doing is just 149, right? And
Yeah.
nothing else, and the rest of the business is yours, and you're not even selling it, you're buying it for yourself.
Yep.
So
And the
what else,
149
right?
gets you in the door, and then you have the choice of the products you want to purchase for yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. That's amazing, that's amazing.
yeah.
So I would definitely say thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Deborah,
Well,
for coming to this live, to this
no
session. And
problem.
personally, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you
And
too, Grace. I love
I'm
you
so
too. Thank
happy to
you.
have you here. And as I said earlier too, this video, I'm going to keep it with me forever. And whenever I'm feeling down or anything, I would always go back to this video. So thank you so much for being here.
You're
And
welcome.
to all my viewers, thank you so much for watching this live session. And my website is liveagracefullife.com.
Ah,
So it's easy to remember,
yeah.
and just go there, register with your name and your email address, and then I will send you the link for the live webinar. And
Yes.
this webinar happens twice a week. So you can do for 40 days, every week, twice, you can attend the webinar, you can ask your questions there. And then when you decide, okay, are you ready to move forward? Then only you move forward. Then only you pay your 149 and all that, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
thank you once again so very much, Tab, for being
You're
here
welcome.
in my life.
I'll,
Thank you so
I'll see
much.
you on Wednesday.
Yes, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Take
I'll,
care.
I'll
God
make
bless.
sure that I do all the homework that you gave me.
Okay.
Yes,
That's important.
yes, yes.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
God bless.
Take care.
Bye bye.